So that will be the most difficult part.
Thank you.
Hi there, thank you. Very interesting pitch, actually. I like the idea of being independent from batteries or just, just pure electricity coming from the floor. So that's really cool. One question for me is, who would be the operator of that business? Because, I mean, at the end, at some point, you need to think about monetizing that probably pretty high investment in the infrastructure.
Yeah, it's a good question. Actually, the Swedish government did a report and a study, and they came up that they had to own the infrastructure and sell the electricity to the users for the first 10 or 20 years before they believe that there will be enough users to actually make a profit. But we already are called up by harbors who are really interested in this. So in closed loops, we already see there is a business and we have customers in closed loops because there you go on the same route. So you charge every time you pass the rail.
Okay, Dan, thank you very much for your presentation and best wishes to Sweden from Hamburg. Thanks for being here and stay tuned because I forgot to mention something. Annabelle and me had a little, not fight beforehand, but I said, I want to announce Elon Road because it sounds so much like Elon Musk. And how funny would it be to welcome Elon Musk and then say it's Elon Road? Anyways, I forgot to tell why or what for all of the EIT scale-ups and startups have to pitch, because I guess it's, not being exaggerated that the prices that these startups can take home tonight are probably amongst the better ones tonight at the ITS World Congress. The winner, jury members, please listen up because it's your official task. The winner gets 3,000 euros. The second place gets 1,000 euros and the third place still gets 500 euros. So I guess that's worth to put in all the effort like Elon Road has done. The second contestant joining us tonight is not from France, and probably the weather is better in France than in Hamburg. That's why Paulina stayed in France. There you are.
You can see I'm wearing my scarf.
Okay, it's autumn also. The next 3 minutes are yours, Paulina.
Okay, let me just share my screen. So we are going from the charging infrastructure for cars and buses for the charging infrastructure for scooters. So hi, everyone. My name is Paulina, and I'm the co-founder of Not. Again, we are from France, and we are working on the docking and charging infrastructure for the shared mobility, micro-mobility services. And I just want to show you the first picture. This one is Marseille, but I guess you've seen it already in other cities. You heard about scooters throwing into the water. And this is something we deal partly. That's one of the answers we can bring because we're working on the docking infrastructure. So why we do it, just let me explain you that. We want to bring order on city streets. So today, all this madness you can see, even with the virtual stations, you can deal better with the charging and lock-in micromobility services. We want to reduce the vandalism impact because when the vehicle, scooter or bike is secured on a station, it means you cannot take it out and you cannot throw it into the water. And of course, we want to control the energy supply because charging the infrastructure, the micromobility today, it costs to the operators up to 60% of overall expenses. And that's something we can do not for free, but much cheaper, even considering the installation of the infrastructure. So it means you can reduce also operational costs to make scooter and bike sharing finally profitable. So here is this quick presentation, like operational costs for dockless and dock-based services. You can see for the dock-based, we can really decrease the price and also decrease the price for the users and make the scooter sharing and bike sharing not only the service for rich citizens, but for everyone. And finally, it will be environmentally friendly because you will not have these huge trucks driving every night on the streets to collect the batteries and swap them, because scooters and bikes will be charged on the station. So what we do, we produce this docking station which can go with any scooter presented today in the market. So when I say it's a universal station, it means it's truly universal. We can retrofit all existing scooters, or we work directly with the scooter producers like Segway and Okai to put the sleeve on the scooter and to charge it directly on the station. On the software part, you can use the Not application, or we can integrate it with the other services. We started 5 years ago. We have already quite a big portfolio installed in many cities around mostly France and Spain, but also coming to other cities as well. And our true ambition today is not only charge the public scooter sharing services, but also provide the infrastructure for charging micromobility services for all users. So if you have your private e-bike, you can also charge this vehicle on our station. This is our goal tomorrow. We have already more than 81 networks which will be deployed in next year in 19 countries, and that's amazing. And this is the question time, I guess. So now we can swap to and go more into details of our technology. Thank you. Let me just stop it. And the camera is back.
Hi, Paulina. I liked it very much, what you showed us. How far is your production, and how far is your logistics matter under this? Okay, you know what I mean.
Yeah, good question. Well, we started 5 years ago. It was a very small French company. We were building everything in this apartment. So today we have the production site in France. We produce everything in Europe. The aluminium comes from Spain. The assemblies coming in France and Strasbourg, and we have capacity to produce over 300 dogs per week. And then, well, logistics is more complicated because you need to send and redispatch it, and now it's a big problem. But yeah, we have a big capacity of production. It's a very simple product in the end.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for that impressive numbers you can already show. That's amazing. For me, the question is, who's actually the customer of your solution? Is that the city, or is it the actual provider of mobility equipment, so to say? Because if I can remember correctly, the discussions we had like 2 years ago in Hamburg, most of those providers actually target on the pure freedom to leave that scooter anywhere you want to, and not having to go to a station.
I love this question. I'm really hoping to get that. Our main partners today, what we have in our networks, or networks I showed you, is the operators of the transport services in the cities. So we work, for example, now also with Wiener Linien, we work with CETES in Strasbourg, we work with SNCF, with Deutsche Bahn. So they want to provide the all-in-one service. So like now, Nextbike, for example, is providing shared bike services on stations. We can provide these shared scooter services on stations. This is the first step. But then what is very important is that today a lot of people are moving today to go on the work, for example, or from work. So we want also to include private companies into the match. So again, if I'm taking the example of Strasbourg, the basics of the network is built with the transport operator, but we have more than 10 companies who bought additional stations and additional scooters which integrated into the network. In the end, these networks are free for the public, but still financed by the private and served to the public goods. And well, yeah, and no, go ahead.
So yeah, thank you for the great pitch and the all the answers I had. So I'm sorry, I have no more questions.
Oh.
All right. Thank you very much, Paulina. Let's give her a hand.
Thank you.
I can already see the competition is strong today, and it's not getting any weaker with our next startup. It's called Asimov, and Esti is going to present how she is trying to make our roads smarter and safer. Esti.
Thank you. Good afternoon. So, good afternoon, everybody. There we are. Every year, only in Europe, over 23,000 people die in car crashes. Now, in a car crash, there are multiple factors, but one of them is the infrastructure that affects about 30% of the accidents, worsening the consequences. Now, within the infrastructure, improving the road signage has proven to be the most cost-effective way of reducing the number of accidents, between 24 and up to 87%. Now, road authorities, to make sure that all signage is in perfect conditions, need to have inspections performed. But detailed, thorough inspections are slow and labor-intensive, they can be dangerous, and they are normally fully manual. So they are only done every several years and in the main highways. And there is a real need of improvement in our roads. Now, in order to have better roads, we need to perform inspections more frequently. And for that, we need a flexible system that is affordable and easy to use, that will provide traceable results. And for that, we need automation. We need to get the benefit of new technologies. Now, Asimov has developed such a system. We install small, lightweight IoT commercial devices on board the maintenance fleet vehicles that will gather video and data where and when needed and send it automatically to the cloud. There, we analyze this video and data with our AI models and extract the relevant information and make it available to the road maintenance team at the office in a user interface and very easy to use application. In this way, we can perform automated traffic sign inventories. We can support the regular monitoring of all the inventories and factors. We enable remote monitoring of signage in roadworks areas. And we can also detect, classify, and evaluate irregularities in the road. Now, oops, I think we got too far. There. Road maintenance is a B2G market. And maintenance teams can have this service, this automated service, as a subscription, and with that, they can dramatically increase their efficiency and reduce the number of accidents. And the service is affordable enough to be deployed in all types of roads, even the secondary roads, which are the most deadly ones. This is the team. We are senior technical profiles, and we bring previous entrepreneurship experience and knowledge in different fields of the business. We have been recognized and awarded with several prizes, and we have done pilots and projects with public authorities and private road maintenance companies. So we are Asimov, and we keep roads safe. Thank you.
First of all, thank you for that very interesting pitch and a very interesting topic to talk about. The thing that popped into my mind is being in charge of several different city networks myself. How can I run money with that? I mean, basically, I travel through every road in this city every night. So let's do business together.
Sorry.
Let's do business together. I mean, I can install those things in the cars.
Of course.
So is that a kind of a revenue model that you plan?
We work for road maintenance teams, whether they are public or private, and we help them in their regular inspections. We normally use their vehicles to gather data, but we can use other vehicles such as police vehicles or urban buses if they are going around, as long as the vehicle is going to be driving around the streets, the street network, and there's a person taking care of taking the data, which involves pressing one button when they start the engine. They press one button, and all the rest is automated. The data gathering, sending, everything is automated. Drivers don't have to do anything. So we made it as easy as possible to not overload the workers that already doing their inspections and their work.
It's really interesting. We need to talk.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your pitch. Really interesting. You said that around 30% of the accidents are regarding to infrastructure problems. For which country is this number? The background of this question, of course, are the huge differences between the infrastructures of different countries, Europe, and so on.
Okay, it's in the small print down there. This study was for the Nordic and Scandinavian area, but the data I said about 24% is from Spain, 24% less that casualties, road casualties, at least between 24 and 44. That's for Spain, improving road signage, only improving road signage. And the 87% comes from a report in the UK. It was measured to manage, made by the Road Safety Foundation, and in some parts, they just introduce better signage, better lane markings. I think they also introduced small bumps to reduce, and that was it, and the number of accidents was reduced by 87%. It really does have a lot of impact in accidents, the infrastructure.
So at the end, the cities are interested in reducing these accidents and using this technology, and
every accident we avoid is priceless.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Very good pitch. I have no further question.
Okay.
Estivalis, thank you very much. I have the best job today because I only have to introduce the startups. I don't have to pitch myself. And the next intro, I can't help it. Who knows the cartoon Roadrunner? Hands up. Meep, meep. Here you go, Angel.
Thank you very much. That was, amazing. Well, I would like to take the time to thank you, the jury, ITS, and everyone involved in the organization of this event. In MIP, we believe that you are how you move. And while moving through the city, anyone can realize many changes, many challenges that we are facing. I think I am right that how many of us have we struggled with any disconnection or with the unreliability of our transportation system? Or even worse, how many of us have we been frustrated with the restrictions due to the pollution? Okay, I guess all of us, we have been experienced and we have been in that kind of situations. And that's why in MIP, we have developed a mass mobility as a service platform with every single user can plan, can book, and can pay their routes according with their preferences and according what is happening in the city in real time. Okay? So we believe that the approach and the future of mobility will be thanks to, or we believe, by the user-centric approach. That's why we believe that the preferences, that the efficiency and the sustainability will be the criteria to take into account while developing these platforms. And that's why we are working on integrating any relevant stakeholder in the platform. It's not matter if you are a citizen, no matter if you are a transport operator or you are a government, you have a place in MIP. And sorry about that. And that's why we place MIP in the upper right quadrant of this competitor landscape. Why we think we are in the right place, we are doing the right things? Well, thanks to our deployment in 9 different cities in 4 different countries, we have already 250,000 users in a monthly basis. We have integrated in the platform more than 60 operators already, and something that is something that makes us to be really proud. We generate every month 1.2 million searches, what give us the value or the sense of the value of our trip planner. Okay, altogether in 2.5 years, we have generated more than 50,000 bookings, which is kind of an achievement for such a challenging time, let's say. And how we do this? We do this in 2 different ways. We have our B2c business model and our B2B. So we have our platform where you can go and download in the App Store, and then enjoy all the cities that we are present, but at the same time, we also collaborate with transport operators, governments, consultancy companies, where we develop our mass solutions. And thanks to everyone, thanks to the audience as well, and before I drop the mic, I would love also to thank my team, which without them, now none of this magic will happen. Thank you very much. I've been asked to be here.
Angel, right? Angel?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a perfect pronunciation.
I liked your pitch. I have a question. Why is your business so concentrated in South Europe?
Well, I mean, it's due to, basically, it's due to where we are from. We are from Spain, okay? But also we have business in Malta and Cyprus, which we have two white label solutions already there. But it's mainly due to the conditions of where we are.
Yes, thank you for the pitch. I think it is another pitch to explain why this name, where does this name come from? A very interesting name. You said that you implemented this in up to 9 cities, is that right?
9 cities, 4 countries.
Okay. How long does it take to implement it in a new city? Are there differences between the countries and so on? How long does it take?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, take into account that, first of all, the private operators, they are really fragmented. And the way that we move is completely different. I've been living in Amsterdam, I was moving by bike. And in Madrid, that would be, I mean, it's kind of crazy to move around the cars, the buses, and so on. So every deployment and every trip plan that we do has to be according what the preferences of the users are. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. You cannot condition it the way that you move because the whole conditions of the cities are completely different.
And how long does it take if you say, okay, we go to Amsterdam and we want to implement, and how long does it take to up to the implementation and successful?
Technically speaking, it's not that complex. My backend team will kill me. But the more challenging pieces here, it will take to get an agreement with the traffic operators, with the government, local governments, and to put everything in place. Technically speaking, I would say that it's relatively simple. But the problem is to get the agreements with, especially with the public operators, which are the key for any mass platform.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm surprised to hear that the problem would lie with the public operators. I thought that probably the private owners of that mobility infrastructure might have a problem with your solution because they want to be the first contact for their customers.
Well, I'm surprised as well, but the key point here is any public transport generates recurrency and is kind of the anchor of any mobility and the mobility of any city. If you have that recurrency, the operators would love to be there. You can take the example of FreeNow. Now it's integrating other different micro modal operators within the same platform. Uber is as well is doing it with the bikes, with the mopeds. So here the key thing is how you convince the user that you are providing the experience that they want, not now, but the experience, not the theoretical experience, but the experience that you need now. If it's raining, it doesn't make sense to take a share bike, right? Or if it's a traffic jam, you could prefer to go through the metro rather than take the bus. All these kind of the solutions is a combination of both. I think whoever wants to develop a mobility as a service platform needs to be inclusive. And we need to find all the solutions and we need to combine of the solutions to give the optimal result.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Angel. Let's give him a hand as well. We will stay with our friends from Spain, and I'm going to invite Gerard, I hope I'm saying the name correctly, on stage, and he will introduce us his solution for a on-demand bus and van service. Gerard.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Gerard Madrid. I'm co-founder and CEO at Shuttle. So, public transportation in large cities is organized around fixed routes and rigid schedules to provide a good service to a large number of people. But as soon as we start moving to the outskirts, when we go to the suburbs, we go to villages, business parks, so on, this same operational model doesn't keep up. Fixed route and fixed schedule bus services in low density areas is extremely inefficient and heavily subsidized. And I'm afraid I've been given the wrong presentation. So may I pause this presentation for a second? Because I gave a different, okay, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I gave you a different presentation this morning and you are not playing it.
Well, can you work with that one?
No.
Well, we can change it now. It's on the OBS.
Okay. All right, so I'll have to manage this as good as I can. Okay. Okay, good. No, good. I'm starting over. Sorry about this. Now, as I mentioned, public bus service, low density areas, extremely inefficient, heavily subsidized. Now, to solve this problem, we have developed an AI mobility platform that helps transportation planners boost ridership like it's never done before. So today we can all have access to flexible, on-demand mobility. All right, provided by an intelligent fleet of vans that it's always available no matter where we need it, only minutes away. Now, for any of us, Shuttle is an app that lets us request a ride on a bus as if it was a taxi or an Uber. It's straight and simple. The magic happens in the back end, where a set of core algorithms enable the real-time matching of passengers and the live routing of vehicles. So it is artificial intelligence applied to public transportation to take us from A to B faster than it's never done before. Shuttle consists of a passenger app, a driver app, and a management module. The magic happens in the back end, where a set of core algorithms enable the real-time matching of passengers and the live routing of vehicles. So, okay. Operators and planners, they can apply changes, they can also apply improvements to the system on a day-to-day basis. Today, we are helping cities connect with its own neighborhoods. We're also linking towns, villages, business parks with major transportation hubs as a last-mile extension to the public transportation network. We have been in business since March 2017, and as of today, we control 10% of the European market share in a total of 8 countries. We are also present in Japan and Brazil, and we have recently been acquired by the mobility unicorn Schwebel, the industry leader in mass transit across 10 megacities in Egypt, Kenya, Pakistan, and the UAE, as well as Saudi Arabia and Jordan. So today, our joint impact extends to 32 cities in 16 countries. Now, I'm not going to rely on this anymore. We are a team of 18 people with various expertise in the field of mobility and software development. My co-founder and I have been in the business of mobility for the last 20 years, as this is our second mobility startup. At Shuttle, we believe that it is time to provide on-demand flexible mobility in lower density areas, as this is our too much of a subsidized system, and we believe it's time to change this forever. So thank you so much. Happy to answer any question. Thank you for your attention.
Yeah, thank you for the pitch. For the black screen now. Again, anyway, I have two questions. Who are your competitors? The first one, because in my head, I think there are many competitors, possible competitors. The second one is, we're talking about the artificial AI data collecting. I didn't understand who is collecting the data, which data, and who is teaching the machine to deal with this data.
Okay, the first answer would be, there are several competitors in the field right now. If you need me to name them, companies like Via, Yoki, Padam, There's many in Europe, in this case. The way we gather the information is that we know where customers are, we know where demand is at all times. We are following demand patterns every day. We collect that data so we can have much more of a predictive system. In locations where we are deploying today, much bigger locations in Middle East, then the amount of data is massive. So we can work on predictive systems that are able to also understand where demand will be tomorrow and place vehicles whenever they need it at all times, whether it's a vehicle that needs to provide the service or a backup vehicle that needs to be present in case there's changes or problems in infrastructure.
I liked it, yeah.
Thank you.
You have been very often disturbed in your pitch. Now you have 1 minute to tell us what you want to tell us free. Yeah.
A minute to say anything?
No, yeah.
All right.
About your pitch, about your
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad to say that we have recently been acquired by a massive company called Swivel. This is great news for us because now we have so many big locations where we can apply our technology and perform much better. We hope that this model will be able to be applied in large metropolis as well. Hopefully mega cities like Cairo and Nairobi can be also cities like Hamburg or Paris. And we can apply a system in halfway between the taxi and the bus so that we pull people outside of their own vehicles because this is the goal for each one of us here today. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gerard. A person once said to me, are you doing PowerPoint or do you really have something to say? And I think you really had something to say. Thanks a lot for that. Our 3 jury members, how are you going? Still something to drink, all very good. Then be ready for Fluctuo. And Sébastien, the floor is yours. Enlighten us what you do with mobility intelligence.
Thank you very much. So good afternoon, everybody. I'm Sébastien from Fluctuo, so I'm in charge of sales and business development. So Fluctuo is a Paris-based company, and we are working on mobility intelligence. What we are doing is really trying to get insights on understanding of the shared mobility industry. So what we want is to really support this, this area on building the future of mobility. So the first question I want to answer is, there are so many shared mobility services around us, and how can we locate, all these services? So what we want is to help you to display, this service based on their location and based on their availability. So, for example, if you take Gare du Nord in Paris, what you can see is, what you can see. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. So this is Gare du Nord in Paris, and what you can see on this map is how our technology is working. What we're able to do is to display shared mobility vehicles, so you can see cars, scooters, mopeds, and bikes. And we have a single API that can enable you in your apps, in your websites to display live these shared mobility vehicles. It's an API that is used by, we are covering a lot of operators. We have the largest aggregator of operators, more than 200. And we are able to display location in more than 700 cities globally. And this API is used, for example, by SNCF, the railway company in France, and they use us to show bikes and scooters across some of the largest cities in France. It's also used by more than 15 different other app developers, in multiple countries, in the Nordics, in Germany, in Spain, in Italy, and on other markets. So that's the first dimension. But then, what we are doing is how to understand, the usage and the insights about this industry. And we have a second product, which is called City Dive. So it's a business intelligence dashboard that we are selling to the industry that really provide daily metrics on what is happening on the market. What you can see, it's something that covers 90 cities, primarily in Europe. I choose, of course, Hamburg. So what you can see on our platform is we have nearly 15,000 vehicles that are monitored on a daily basis. Yesterday, there were more than 10,000 scooters, in action in Hamburg, and with almost 25,000 trips that have been made. So it's definitely a very dynamic market. And what we are able to show is really, the overall usage of the scooters in terms of weekdays, in terms of hours per day, in terms of really, trying to give a kind of benchmark for providers. We are also able to show where the vehicles on the city, by providers, what are also the main origin destinations, so where these scooters are going and what are the main areas, that you need to look at. So it's something that can give insight also for cities. We work with most of the industries, so these are all our paying customers. So we work with all the shared mobility operators. We work also with players like SNCF, like Deutsche Bahn. We work with FreeNow. We work with BCG, with Capgemini, with various partners, and very happy also to support, the growth of this industry. So just to conclude, what we do is really across, the 4 different dimensions. We build these 2 products, which are Data Flow API and City Dive Dashboard. Thank you very much for your attention.
I actually thanks first of all for that interesting pitch. I have a question. So did I get that correctly, that you basically collect the data and analyze that for the mobility providers? Why don't they do that on their own? Or do you provide the data also of the competitors to them?
So of course they have their own fleet management platforms, so that's really core in their business. But today what they are lacking is a kind of insights on benchmark on the industries. And that's really what we bring. If you know GFK, we are the GFK of this shared mobility industry. That's what we're doing.
Thank you. No more questions.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we want to give our jury the chance to refill their drinks and to maybe get up from these uncomfortable chairs for a second. So we'll have a 1 or 2 minutes break, and during this break, feel free to register for our startup party on Thursday afternoon or evening at Mojo Club. If you haven't already, you'll find the QR code here, so do yourself a favor, get up from these chairs as well, scan this QR code, and then we'll see you on Thursday evening, and of course after the break right now, just in 2 minutes' time. All right. I hope you all enjoyed the break. I know it's getting late, but I want to give the other startups the chance to present themselves in front of an audience as well. So we'll keep it short and simple. And our next startup will be a digital attendee again. I want to welcome Autobahn on the screen in this case. Hi.
Hello, everybody. Are we on?
Yeah.
We decided not to show you any slides. We decided to show you a walkthrough, our office, to show the technology at the end of the day. Not sure whether you can see it flipped now. Yep, I think it looks okay. Time is running? That's cool, yeah, time is running. So hello everybody, my name is Mark from Autobahn. Autobahn does believe in greener and more livable cities, and that is why we're engineering an entirely new conception of urban transportation. The company was founded roughly 2 years ago, and during the first couple of days during our being, we built up this model. So that is rather old, but it shows perfectly what we do. We are engineering a new transportation system above today's traffic, because on ground level, there's more important people to go there to use that space. And that transportation system will be for people as well as for goods. The first reaction typically is, well, I know that's from skiing, that's a ropeway system. Explicitly, it's not a ropeway system, because it has each of the cabin has its own power unit, and it can decide how fast it goes, 60 kilometers per hour in city application, intercities up to 250 kilometers per hour, and it can also decide whether it goes on a switch left or right. So that's a huge difference technology-wise and capacity-wise to a roadway system. You might say a small model is cool. We're engineering hard on bigger models. Half a year after we had built this one, we had set up a first test track in our office. And I'm getting my personal Autobahn ride now with an app. So you got to imagine a later state, you're at your house, you order your personal on-demand ride, just as an Uber cab, and once you leave the house, the Autobahn will arrive. So, just came in, still doing the last movements, super comfortable. So this is going to be individual transport, a 1 or a 4-seater or a pallet transport. And let's just enjoy a short tour through our office. See you in a bit. The cool thing is I have the mic with me, so I can even watch Thomas take a good movie, waving my hands. There's a lot of entertainment going on in here. You can have Netflix, you can have sound, you can have whatever. It can work, you can just relax. That is our concept. And see, it's working in large scale, but we're going to scale it even more. If you follow me to that layout here on the left-hand side, this is what we will build in the south of Munich, even beginning this year. It's a 1 kilometer round track, and we will bring the technology to maturity on that outdoor reference track. And happy to in each of the cities, or we can move to the other room again. Happy for your questions. We just find our way back now to the larger conference room.
Mark, we don't see you anymore. We would love to see you, but I hope you can still hear me and us. Well, let's hope not that the Autobahn crashed, but so.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we hear you. It's Q&A time now. So
super cool.
Uli, Christian, and Doreen are probably going to pull out some questions. Doreen, go ahead.
Well, thank you for that truly entertaining pitch. That was refreshing. And also very impressive to see that the technology obviously works, at least if we're talking about mobility and not about internet in Germany. Can you tell me, I mean, this is really cool, and this is really, like, you know, futuristic and everything. Are you actually planning to implement that kind of mobility system in a German city already, or is that a faraway dream?
No, hopefully it's not a faraway dream. If it gets a too far away dream, we're gonna build it abroad. I mean, that's the true fact about it. You know, we're a super small team still, and we do not have anybody doing sales, but still we have around 30 inquiries from across the globe. Most of them are from Germany, and many of them are out from the Munich area and broader area. And we are in a super lucky position that right next door to the property that we're building the reference track, the test track I was talking about, there's an Autobahn. So, you know, Autobahn and all this stuff. So there's an Autobahn, the A8, that brings you directly to the heart of Munich. And we are in intense discussions about making this the first commercial track once the technology is ready. And there's more of that maturity, but, you know, I would love to do it in Munich first, as we are settled here. But it's close. It's super close.
Mark, thank you very much. I think I don't want to bias the jury, but if there was an award for most entertaining pitch, you would probably be up there somewhere. So thank you very much. And I now see Matthias from Norway joining us. Matthias, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And the floor is yours with Nivelle.
Thank you. I'm Matthias from Nivelle. We are a team of engineers, some of us with background in public transport and in public regulations too, and software development. We deliver digital regulation tools for public authorities in cities. Our first thing to regulate is this, electric scooters. It's a big debate in Norway and in much of Europe, how to manage this new mean of transport in a good way. And because the debate is this a good thing? It's a lot of people that really likes it, or is it a bad thing? It's also a lot of people that really hates it. And we believe that the meaning of regulation and public regulation is to achieve, keep the good things with this new mobility service, but try to get less of the bad stuff. And regulation is interesting as a term because it's used very differently. It means kind of to make a desired situation based on some kind of mechanism. But we use it very different when it comes to public regulations versus regulation in tech. Because in tech, we have, for instance, technology in our houses. This is not our product. This is a metaphor. So you all have probably a smart way of regulating temperature in your houses. You do it by a way of controlling it. And you have a measured value, sensors in the rooms, and then there is a software looking at the difference, and that's the regulation mechanism in a modern house with a means to increase and a means to decrease temperature. We do the same thing with scooters or other IoT devices from commercial players in public space. You can do the same. You can have, we think it's sustainable to have 10 scooters in this public space or 100. And then you can have several companies competing together, but still assure that the sum of all scooters are within a sustainable number, because you can use subsidize or fees to avoid it being too many or too few. Maybe too few in rural areas or too many in the city centers. We do that with a digital platform managing this. I'll show you a bit from our front end that the city authorities use in 3 cities in Norway now. You can have binary rules like parking forbidden, and you can control and see all the scooters, but also control this fee to avoid it to be too many. We also have other tools like capturing poor parkings that public, just the general public can do, see poor parkings and report it. It integrates with the data, and you can use also fees to avoid that happening. You can learn from the data, and the sum of all this is that we get more of the good, less of the bad. Yeah, and we do it in Bergen as our biggest city, 6,000 scooters from 5 players regulated there. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the pitch. And the internet works. Okay, that's a good news. I didn't understand it exactly. Who is paying for this service?
The city is paying for the service now, and it can be different business models when you have transactions. Because we are making a platform for the cities to use fees from the scooter companies in the inner city centers to avoid it being too many, like we see many cities in Norway. And then we can either take a cut of that fee or have a fixed, like a software as a service solution, which is what we do now.
Okay, thank you. No further questions. I think no more questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, and greetings to Norway. The next startup on stage has had quite some publicity here in the last few weeks and months because they have a great vehicle. They've been driving through all of Germany, basically. So please welcome with me Paula from Auvetech.
Hello. It is a pleasure to be here finally and have the opportunity to network with all the people regarding mobility. And when we are talking about intelligent transportation, we also must address the public transportation, which today still in many cases is serving an outdated commute. So this makes people depending on their personal cars, and in order for them to have an effective way of commuting. And moreover, this makes cities struggle with road congestion and pollution. So my name is Paula Johanna Adamson. I am from Auvetech, an Estonian company specialized in the development and manufacturing of autonomous vehicles. As Annabel mentioned, one of them is also here today as well in the next hall. And in addition to that, we also offer a full scope service of implementing these vehicles into different environments. So Auvetech has developed a solution for cities in order to extend their current public transportation network. This is all in order to make public transportation more personalized for people. So for people who choose not to or cannot use the services available today. The service is on demand. It's there where you need it, and it's there when you need it. And moreover, it's safe. It uses autonomous driving, and at the same time, it doesn't need any additional changes to the infrastructure. We started in 2018 as a student project, and within 1 year, our goal was to create the prototype of a self-driving vehicle. After that, we teamed up with people from software engineering, automotive engineering, and also custom vehicle building. Today, we are a team of 60 people, and we have already been operating on public roads in different European countries. So our first public operation was actually in 2020, and after that we have conducted many different operations in various environments, which have been in order to fill the gap in last mile transportation and also decrease the pressure on public infrastructure and make the public transportation more personalized. So these are the first steps in order to pave a way for the cities towards a sustainable transportation model. But they are the first steps. In the future, in addition to passenger transportation, which we are offering today, we also see that the solution could be used for a variety of other use cases. For instance, waste transportation, parcel delivery, and of course, teaming up with all of the systems, or some of the systems you have heard about today. All in order to create an ecosystem for cities to switch to a future which provides livable and enjoyable cities for the people in it. So join us on the journey for future-ready transportation today. Thank you.
Thanks for the interesting pitch. Extremely impressive to see that this very young company already has such a big track record, so really cool. How many people do fit in these kinds of cars? It's rather small, so it's an individual ride service, or is it like a shared ride service?
So the shuttle fits 8 people. 8. So it is a public transportation, but not for a large amount of people.
But it's about ride sharing as well, so you combine different goals to one route.
Yes, it can be used on a route with predefined bus stops, for instance, so much as like the public transportation you see today. But it can also be used as an on-demand service, so people can order it from an app and use it for them or for them with friends.
Interesting, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Really great pitch. You showed us where you implement this. There were huge differences, campus and cities and so on. How fast are these vehicles going at the end? And is it the aim to be faster than the alternatives or to be more comfortable at the end?
So the aim is not to be faster. The vehicles are low speed, so since they are made for last mile use cases. So often the routes are a combination of public roads among other cars, but also on pedestrian roads amongst e-scooters, pedestrians, so on and so forth. So the maximum speed is 25 kilometers per hour, and it depends on where it drives and what's the situation. But yeah, taking the speed higher is not the goal on its own. It's about being personalized. It is about being flexible and also serving the goal of the people in the city.
I mean, at the end, faster than by feet. Yeah. Thank you.
Can you imagine that your vehicle runs on a company facility?
Yes, so this is also one of the many use cases the shuttle can be used for. So, for example, at the moment we have projects running in 3 countries, Estonia, Finland, and Poland. 2 of them, in Finland and Estonia, they're running on public roads. In Poland, for example, we're using the shuttle in order to provide transportation in a cemetery. But yes, as you mentioned, it could also be big manufacturing campuses or big companies with big campuses where the inside transportation is not sustainable.
Thanks a lot. Paula, thank you very, very much. Give her a round of applause. Whoever wants to see the vehicle in real, it's just 20 meters down the road in this hall. Whom of you ever had a bicycle accident? Whom of you is a regular cyclist? All right, then maybe Tui has something for you. Tui from Dash Factory, the next 3 minutes are yours.
Thank you, thank you. So hello everyone, I'm Tui from Dash Factory GmbH, and our aim is to digitalize and also improve the cycling infrastructure. Dash Factory is divided into 2 sectors, Dash Bike and then Dash Track. So this is actually the problem that we have to face with today. That is the too close overtaking, that the cyclists are in danger because of cars and too close overtaking. And this is where now Dash Bike comes into play. Dash Bike can be easily implemented, can be easily mounted under the bike saddle, and it will film 180 degrees to the back and also measure the overtaking distance. And whenever the overtaking distance falls below 1.5 meters, according to the law of Germany, Dash Bike will record the video and also save. And the Dash Bike has various functions, as you can see here. We have fall detector, distance measurement, day and night light, GPS, and also clip mount system. The Dash Bike can be easily connected to a smartphone app via Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. So the recorded data will be transferred to the app, and the cyclist can then generate evidential files through the recorded data. So this is what the cyclists can do to reactively protect themselves against dangerous overtaking situation. And the second part of Dash Factory is the Dash Track. The Dash Track is a data platform, we call it. We have a Dash Factory cloud where the recorded data by the Dash Bike will be implemented in, and the data will be then analyzed in the Dash Factory cloud, and of course anonymously. From there, heat maps and dashboards will be generated, and the heat maps and dashboard could be easily implemented in the urban data platform of the individual city. The purpose of this is we want to improve the bike lanes through the heat maps and dashboards. And here we can see the market volume of Dash Bike. Dashcam is one of the fastest growing products in the electronic consumption. And here we can also see the market volume of Dash Track and also the advantages that the Dash Track can bring to us. By 2022, we will generate 8.2 million euros in revenue. So we are a team of 13 diverse people. We have already developed a market-ready product called Dash Bike, And also, we have developed in-house a corresponding app for iOS and also Android. We also developed an urban data platform called Dash Factory Cloud to analyze data anonymously. So we are looking for a co-investor for 2 million euros for personal growth, to grow internationally, and also to develop a low-cost version and also a front version of Dash Bike, and for further development of the Dash Track. So this is our diverse team, and thank you for your listening.
Oh, it works. Thank you for the pitch. There are two questions at the end. In Germany, the law situation is clear. You have to overtake it with a distance at least to 1.5 meters.
1.5 meters, exactly.
What is it about in other countries? I do not know the situation there. And the second question is, do you have ideas to predict accidents with this technology? At the moment, and if I understood it correctly, you use the technology after an accident or after there went something wrong. How to use this to predict, for example, to make the car driver don't do a mistake because you are filmed or something like this?
So first of all, about the first question is about the situation in other countries, right? So as I know, Germany is one of the most countries that has the most strict law in the world. So as we are able to run in Germany according to the data protection regulation, we are free to do it in other countries. And in terms of technique, we also can adapt the dash bike and also the system so that we can so that our product will be suitable in other countries. And the second question regarding the technique that we have, so the dash bike is able to measure the distance. So it works like this: when a car approach you, dash bike it films continuously, and in case the overtaking distance falls under 1.5, then the video will be recorded. The purpose of this is, first, preventively, we prevent the car to overtake too closely, because when they see we have the dash bike, they would have something in mind, they have something to take action against us, and we gotta be careful about it. And the second thing is not just about the dash bike, it's about the data platform that we provide, that the data will be analyzed, and dashboards and heat maps, like where is the dangerous point, where the accident happens most frequently, and therefore the authorities, the government, can imply actions to improve the cycling infrastructure. Yeah.
Is it legal to use that kind of video tapage? The video material, is it legal to sue someone?
It is legal because it's privacy compliant, because we had it tested, we have it approved by a legal firm, and it is situation dependent. So in case the distance falls under 1.5 meters, we have the right, according to the law, we have the right to record. And we have the right to use the files created by Dash Bike in court or for legal purposes. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Can you imagine to implement a signal that goes to the car, and the car driver has the possibility to react? Can you imagine?
I'm sorry, again.
Can you imagine that from a signal from your product is going into the car, and the driver has the possibility to react, that is not coming so near by the bike driver?
Yeah. So that's the point of the dash bike, that they will. While they cannot receive the signal, we are not there yet. Firstly, they will see the dash bike because it's right there behind the bike. And they will realize that there's something against them. But the signal, well, we haven't had any signal to send to the car. But that would be a good idea to develop the dash bike further.
All right, thank you very much. Let's give her a hand. So one aspect I like very much about today's pitch, apart from the actual startups, of course, is how international they are. I just counted, we have 12 startups coming from 7 different countries today, which is quite impressive, I think. And one of them tops it all, because Alexander, he is from the US, but is actually living in Paris, and I would really like to know how that is going. Maybe we can have a chat afterwards. Right now, I want to invite you all to welcome in on stage Alexander and Vianova.
Thank you. Thank you for sticking around to the Pentultimate presentation. We see from so many presentations today and over the course of ITS that there's so much new technology out there for shared mobility, for goods delivery, new innovations, and yet chaos still reigns. There's still challenges even when the goal is sustainable mobility, a better, safer future for all cities. Challenges still exist. And the reason, to quote Cool Hand Luke, is what we've got here is a failure to communicate, right? Public sector entities don't speak tech. Tech doesn't speak public sector. What we believe in Vianova is that the potential exists for data to serve as the Rosetta Stone between public and private sectors. What we do as Vianova is essentially serve as a data exchange. So public sector entities receive data from private sector, whether shared mobility, goods delivery, fleets of vehicles. In exchange, the public sector pushes data to the private sector, sending rules, regulations, needs, data requests. And ultimately, that bilateral exchange allows people to be speaking the same language to one another. What's the benefit? Why participate? For cities, public transport agencies, third parties, they have the ability to take this data and turn it into insights. Data for data's sake is not particularly useful, but think about the way that this data can be used to plan new cycle lanes or parking infrastructure, to create, manage, and regulate the caps, the floors, the no parking regulations, and to optimize the way that new mobility fits into this broader traditional transportation ecosystem with public transport and other traditional modes. Operators get a better understanding of the tender requirements, the sort of rules of the road for the public sector, but also to respond to market dynamics to understand sort of where the future is headed. We've had a number of successes over the last couple of years as a 2-year-old company in many of the marquee cities for the future of mobility, including Stockholm, Milan, Zurich, Riga, and others. And why Vianova as opposed to trying to do this yourself or working with one of our competitors? We think first and foremost it's an unparalleled experience in both public sector and private sector to serve that translation role. To make sure that there's a user experience that works for whether you're a city planner with no technical sophistication or a data scientist who really wants to get into the API. And finally, we have a rule that the number of widgets on a dashboard isn't a key performance indicator, right? We don't believe in collecting and presenting data for data's sake, given how expensive and laborious it is to maintain it. It has to be based on the use cases and the rationale for how that data serves the broader purposes. We're excited about the future of shared mobility and the future of new mobility, and interested in hearing your questions.
Thanks for the pitch. I like the idea of communication being the key for success, so this is really cool. So do I get this correctly, that your target customer is the public?
Generally speaking, yes. Most of our clients today are public sector, but increasingly private sector entities are also, number one, looking at their own data, and number two, taking information from the city and using it to control their operations to better manage their services. Thinking about the availability of parking locations, for example, for logistics drop-offs is something that is new information to those private sector companies that they can use to optimize their own services.
So they're already willing to pay for that kind of service?
Exactly.
Cool.
Yes, thank you. But my first question was also, who is the main market? Who's paying for it?
It's a little of both. Public sector and private sector see a value, and a market works best when you've got people on both sides of the ledger.
And you have the flexibility to go on both. Okay. And I mean, it's not the first time that we heard about collecting data and so on. What is your USP, especially to the other ideas, collecting and dealing with data? What is your USP, your unique selling point?
To us, I think it's the way that that data is actually turned into information, right? Raw data isn't particularly useful, particularly on the city side. It's the dog that catches the fire hydrant, right? There's too much data for a city to adequately know how to operate off of it. So what we do is help a city understand, from this raw information, what do we make policy in order to see our goals around sustainability, equity, public space management.
Thank you. No further question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alexander, thank you very much. So, one more to go, last but not least. At the last ITS World Congress Startup Area in Copenhagen in 2019, a startup won the pitching contest called AI Park. They became Blick later on, had something to do with parking. And we have to the jury one final startup, Parkio, which carries in the name maybe a little bit of what you're doing. Michal, I hope you can see and most importantly hear us. The next 3 minutes are yours. Your last but definitely not least. Go ahead.
Oh my God, no more parking startups here. So, sure, yeah, it's another parking startup, but not so much focused on parking, even though the topic is obvious. Do you know that there is more than 100,000 municipalities in Europe, and 100,000 municipalities in Europe, and more than 100 parking payment applications worldwide? There are 20 applications which appear each year and 20 which disappear, and the parking problem is still not solved. There are too many apps, the enforcement is difficult, there are different technological startups which are very costly, and they still are not solving the problem. So what is the solution for a parking problem? And basically, the solution is not in tech, and it can be solved very, very simply by managing the parking rules. It's very easy, very fast to set up. It can show people the availability and help drivers to have the seamless experience of parking, and the municipalities have total control of the parking. But what's the parking basically? We are connecting whole parking market. The parking market contains the on-street parking, smart cities, off-street, hotels, car parks, business centers, and so on, and shared parking, where you can rent out your garage, or corporation can while the employees don't use it, they can rent it out in the nightly hours usually, and the residents don't park on the sidewalks. For the drivers, it's very comfortable. They magically find a parking space, they park, they do whatever they need to do, and then when they leave, the transaction is done on the back end. For municipalities, one of the many features is automated fine management. They don't need to use many employees. It's very effective, and they get the enforcement done. And the business model is very simple. And of course, you don't want to create new problems for the municipalities. You want to make it as easy as possible for them. So the business model is based on having the pricing below the tender threshold, so the procurement is very easy. We of course charge other fees, and we are now in 2 countries. For municipalities, we are negotiating with partners in India. We generate revenue more than 15,000 monthly with zero marketing budget. Basically, we already showed the ability to scale, and the innovation is bringing not the technological solution, even though it's a technology. The team, both me and Rob, we already exited different startups before successfully. Our CTO has led the development of 50 million plus the software development company. Our most valuable advisor is Maros Mazzola, who built the distribution network for Asset, K7 computing, Slido, which was bought by Cisco. And our probably future CEO is a very experienced guy who led different corporations and also was national CIO of the country of Slovakia. So yeah, that's it.
Yes, thank you for the pitch. As a car driver in Hamburg, I must begin this question with these words. As a car driver in Hamburg, I like this idea very much. And do you have the idea of how many time and how many energy is lost for looking for a parking place for car drivers? I expected that you begin with this. Yeah, there's this pain you have as car drivers, because in the end, for me, that makes your idea very, very interesting and very attractive. And on the other side, does your business model doesn't have the effect that more cars are in the city because it's easier to find a parking place?
No, basically the solution is to get out the cars from the city. So, and we are helping municipalities to get this solution alive.
Thanks for your pitch. I liked it. You told us there are other players in the market, in your industry. Now you have the time to tell us what's the difference to your others. Where are you better and where are the difference to others? Please tell us.
So basically, most of the payment applications are just the payment processors. They don't bring any innovation to the municipality. They just gather money. We are actually a smart city portal, which is industrial IoT portal, which helps municipalities to connect third-party systems and unite the data. And we actually step in with parking. And so this is the main difference, that we help and we don't promote any sensors or computer vision, even though we can integrate it. The solution is very simple by managing the parking policies.
So to take part in this game, if I was an owner of a big garage, for instance, would I need to invest in some sort of technology? Because in my world, most of the garages are still kind of like, you have a clicker and that's opening the door, but that's rarely digital or provided with interfaces, for instance. So what does that mean for me?
So if you have automatic doors there or gate, it can be connected online, or if it's connected and managed online, or we have a really simple device which you connect with 2 cables to your gate, and it will become available on the app, and you can open and close make it available for the third parties.
Thank you very much, Michal. And a last round of applause for Parkio.
Thank you.
So while I have to say thank you to all the startups and scale-ups, let me also thank everybody who kept their seat until the very last minute. I know it's probably not the most fortunate time slot to have a long pitching contest at 5 in the afternoon, but I think it was worthwhile staying here, also for our jury. This is now the time where we need to talk while the winners are counted and announced. Doreen, don't flirt with Christian yet. How did you see all these 12 contestants coming along?
I'm very impressed about the variety of business models we've seen today. So that's it's very hard to actually compare because it's impossible to compare. So for me, it was very hard to decide on who might be the winner of this all. But as an interested person myself, I was widening the horizon of oneself. So that's cool. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to be here today.
Thanks for being here. Christian, without spoiling anything, do you have a favorite or not to be announced just yet?
At least two favorites. First of all, thank you to have the chance to be here and to listen to these different, very interesting ideas, international ideas, and to see that everywhere the problems are the same and they're really interesting people who are working on it. I have at least two favorites, but let's have a look.
Let's see.
But you say it's not easy to compare them, so let's have a look.
Let's see and wait. We're almost there. Uli, KPMG probably has a very, very large perspective on startups around the world. How did you see these EIT urban mobility selection that we presented to you this afternoon?
Oh, I can say it was a very great variance in it. I liked the pitches, and I think it's from A to Z. It was everything in it, and I liked it. I have as well two candidates, but I will announce now. We have here the prices. Okay?
Okay. Uli, thanks a lot. Now, not only talking to you here, but also addressing again everybody who's online and our digital contestants. I hope you can still hear me, still see me, and joining in now. Paulina is in a car, hopefully not driving, you know, otherwise you need a maybe Dash Factory thing. Michael is there, Mark is there, so where are our friends from Norway? Let's hope they'll join in a minute. I don't want to build up the excitement any further. We have 3 winners, which will be announced by our esteemed jury. So I think the 3rd place is Doreen's job. Please come up on stage here and let us know who is the 3rd podium winner of the EIT Scale-Up pitch event this afternoon.
Unfortunately, I'm not able to hand over that prize in person because that was a contribution by video. So the 3rd prize goes to Elon Musk. No, Elon Road.
Elon Road, congratulations. Congratulations to Sweden. Harald, what do you say? He's speechless. Okay, we'll send you, we'll ship that award to you. Congratulations. Christian, number 2.
Yes, number 2. And the Oscars go, no, wrong place. No. Mark from Autobahn, 2nd place. Congratulations. Well done.
Super.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. Love it.
Mark, congratulations. I don't know if you can see it. There goes €1,000 to Autobahn and Uli.
Super cool.
Now there are 10 possible contestants left to win. I have to correct myself, not 3,000, but €2,000. EIT is a little bit stingy there, but don't count me on that. Uli, who's the winner?
I'm very lucky to do this. It's an honor, thanks. The 1st place from the pitch is Overtech Paula.
Paula, join us on stage. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You-
It is a... Should I? Okay. Thank you. Well,
Congratulations.
I just want to tell you that the shuttle is still there, and we will be very glad to see you, if not today, then for the rest of the week, and actually show you and tell you more. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
So, without further ado, thank you very much. This closes, so to say, the startup area for this Tuesday. Tomorrow, there's lots of startups coming in again, lots of pitching going on. Have a safe trip home or a safe party somewhere here at the exhibition halls, and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.